welcome to your lesson. Make sure you've got a pen and book ready to take notes. Remember, it's a video, so you can repeat bits if you need to, just by rewinding. There's places you'll be asked to pause the video and complete activities. Make sure you take a picture of your work at the end and email it to your teacher, please. Here are your starter questions. If you can pause the video here, have a go at these starter questions, and then press play when you're ready to see if you've got those right. Okay, let's see how we got on with those. So for the first one, on the impact recall, remember angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if we add the 65 and the 70 together and take them away from 180, we're left with 45. The 45 and the B are on a straight line, which means they need to add up to 180. So B is 135. Okay, the 60 and E are what we call vertically opposite angles. So when that's formed by a cross, we get a pair of vertically opposite angles, two straight lines cross. So vertically opposite angles are equal. So that makes C 60 degrees. 60 degrees and the D were on a straight line, so they have to add up to 180. Again, we have another pair of vertically opposite angles here, or you could have used the angles in a straight line add up to 180. And lastly, we've got another triangle that must add up to 180. So what do you add up to 103 to get to 180, which is 77? Okay, over here we know that all angles in a four-sided shape must add up to 360, which means these four angles that are written in algebra, or with a 28 degrees there, must all add together to make 360 degrees. So we can form an equation by adding all of the angles together and simplifying. So we've got 3x, 2x at x to make 6x, 10, take away 4, add 8, add 28 to make and add 42 equals 360. So the aim of the game is to find x. We need to solve this now. So we need to subtract 42 from the 360. So 6x is 318, and we need to divide by 6. So x must be 53 degrees. Okay, we know angles around a point are a full turn, so they should add up to 360. So we've got to do 360, take away 278, and we're left with 82. And like I mentioned earlier, angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So we add these two together and we take them away from 180. So the missing angle is 65 degrees. If you haven't noticed from the starter questions, we're obviously starting a unit on angles, and we're going to start with angles in parallel lines. If you can write the title, please. Okay, parallel lines. In maths, parallel lines are defined as lines which are an equal distance apart and never meet, and then in maths, your diagrams will always be outlined with some pair of arrows to let you know that they match. Okay. So this line that cuts through a set of parallel lines is called a transversal line. Could you just copy that diagram, please, and make sure you've got that keyword down? So a transversal line is a line which cuts through the set of parallel lines. So we're going to cover three main rules today to do with parallel lines, and the first one is called alternate angles. Okay, alternate angles, sometimes known as Z angles because they look like Z angles, but you must know the correct name, alternate angles, in order to get marks in your GCSE. So look for Z's, but don't call them Z angles when you actually answer a question. They're called alternate angles. And they're called alternate angles because the angles are on opposite side of that transversal line. So they're on alternate sides of the transversal. And the rule about alternate angles is that alternate angles are equal. So whatever one is, the other one is the same. When you're looking for that Z shape, it's the angles tucked away in the bends. Whatever this number is, this number will be the same, and likewise. They can be, like I said, like that, or they could be a bit more stretched out. They could also be in reverse. Okay, but whatever they are, they're equal. Could you please make a little diagram of those and copy the rule? Press play when you're ready to have a look at that used. Okay, so here's a question then on angles that will require us to use one of these rules. Okay, so we know, so far we know the alternate angle. So if this is 132 degrees, this one here is also 132 degrees, because that's where your Z shape, your alternate angles fall in. So it's the two that are in the bends of the Z are always the same. And then we've got to apply some previous knowledge that B is on a straight line with 132. So B is whatever we add to 132 to make it up to 180. So B is 48. Okay, you might want to copy that down and annotate it. Alright, next rule are corresponding angles, and they look like F shapes. You need to look out for F shapes. They can be F shapes, but they can also be backwards, so they don't always look like an F exactly. So this case looks like an F. This one's upside down, doesn't look like an F. However, that's the closest thing to look out for. They're called corresponding angles, and corresponding angles are also equal. So when you're looking for that shape, it's the two parts that are tucked away and again in the bends. Tip when you're answering these questions, the highlighter works really well to highlight over the top where your F's and Z's might fall in. Okay, again, could you pause the video? Could you take a note on this? And then press play when you're ready to look at that used. Okay, so here's our example. We've only given the 123, so when you're starting these questions, you have to think, well, how can I link this 123 to one of these two angles? Okay, I can't use alternate angles. That would need to be on this side here to link to B. Yes, you could work out B other ways, okay, but if you're going to use a corresponding straight away, we can know that A and the 132 are both corresponding, therefore both the same because the corresponding angles are equal, and then B is on a straight line with the 123. So what do we add to 123 to make it up to 180? We add 57 degrees. Again, can you copy that down please? You may want to annotate your diagram. Okay, last rule is interior angles, and interior angles add up to 180 degrees. So before alternate angles are equal, corresponding angles are equal, interior angles add up to 180 degrees. And they look like C shapes. Okay, so interior angles are on the inside, so the interior of the set of parallel lines. So where A and B is there, and if you can see, we make a C shape. A add B would have to add up to 180. They can also be backwards, so they don't have to look exactly like C's, but they're on the inside of those parallel lines, so they are interior angles, and they add up to 180. They can sometimes be called co-interior angles. Please copy that down, and then press play when you're ready to look at an example. Okay, so here are some questions, not examples then, so more questions for you to do. What I would like you to do, please, is first of all commit to which rule we're using that links the 110 to A. This would usually be obviously on a whiteboard. You're going to have to write it down. I'm going to give you a countdown and you're going to check whether you got that right. Okay, so it's one of the three rules we've just looked at. As I said, sometimes called co-interior angles. Does the 110 and the A link together with corresponding angles, alternate angles, or co-interior angles? Commit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, hopefully we said corresponding angles, you can see the F would go down here. Okay, so A would be 110. Okay, again, which of the three rules does this apply to? Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They're alternate. It's on the alternate sides of the transversal. So B would also be 40 degrees. They're alternate angles. Okay, which is this? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. These angles are corresponding, so it would go down here. C would also be 130 degrees. Which one is this? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, these are this backward C, so these are co-interior angles, and they would add up to 180 degrees, so D would be 130 degrees. Which one is this? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. These are alternate angles, so you have a Z shape there, so E would also be 100 degrees. Okay, again, which one of these? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. These would be corresponding, make the C shape. So F would be 70, because that's what we had to 110 to make it up to 180. Okay, which one is this? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alternate, this is your transversal line. They're on alternate sides of the transversal line, so F would also be 85 degrees because they're alternate angles. Okay, which one are these? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Corresponding, so if you think about having these red lines extended, it would look a bit like this diagram here, just upside down. So they're on the corresponding side of the transversal line, so F would also be 130 degrees. Right, I would like you to copy this diagram, please. I'd like you to pause the video and then try and work out all of the angles using the rules you've just gone through. Press play when you're ready to check if you've got those right. Okay, let's see if you've got those right. So I was only given the 110. You don't have to go in any particular order, but we could link the 110 to this one by making it corresponding. The 110 and this one are on a straight line, so they've got to be add up to 180, which makes this one 70. And again, we could use vertically opposite, or we could keep following our straight line round, saying these are on a straight line. Okay. We could use co-interior to link the 110 to the 70. We could use a straight line. We can use vertically opposite, so we could use the fact that they are crossing line. Okay, again, set of vertically opposite angles and co-interior or alternate angles. So however you've done it, those are the angles you should have got. So to prove two lines are parallel, if you have matching angles the whole way around at the top and matching angles all the way around at the bottom, you would have proved that they are parallel lines. Alright, here are 3 examples, please. I would like you to copy these down. So question A, we need to work out angle A and B. We're only given the 60. You can do them in more than one order. Okay, I'm just going to go through the letters, so I'm going to go A, B, C and so on. So to work out A, and I've only got the 60, the way to link the 60 and the A together would be to use this F shape that goes like this, which is here. So it means A is also 60 because corresponding angles are equal. Once I have A is 60, I could use a straight line, or I could use the fact that they're interior angles. So if I know the 60 is already there, then B is whatever I add to 60 to make it up to 180, so B is 120 because they're interior angles. Again, there's more than one way I could have worked out B. Okay, and it would have been fine as long as your explanation matches how you did it. Okay, so onto this one. To work out C, if I'm only given the 30, I could use this stretched Z shape. Okay, so alternate angles are equal, which means they're both 30. Then I'm going to work out D. C and D are actually on a straight line, so you could use that, or you could use interior angles. Okay, and interior angles have to add up to 180. So D is 150, and I've used the interior angles rule there. And to work out E, we've got two straight lines that cross, so I can use vertically opposite angles are equal. If D is 150, E is exactly the same because they're vertically opposite angles. Last one. Okay, I've only got the 38. I need to work out F first of all. So I can use, that line is supposed to go there, apology. I can use the Z shape, which makes it an alternate angle. And F would have to be the same at 38 degrees because they're alternate angles. I could work out G from the 142 because they're in a straight line with each other. So G is whatever I add to 142 to make it up to 180. So G is 38 degrees because angles on a straight line equal 180. Once I know F and G, I have two angles with inside a triangle, and all triangles must add up to 180 degrees. So I do 180 take away 38, take away another 38, so H is 104. Okay, F and G are both 38, so this would have been an isosceles triangle. Could you pause the video and make sure you've got that fully copied down, please? Press play when you're ready to have a go at some questions. Okay, here are some questions I'd like you to do. Please copy the diagrams so that you can annotate them. Okay, press pause, have a go at them, and then press play when you're ready to see if you've got those right. Okay, let's see how we got along with those then. Here are the answers. They've also got all of the reasons on there for you. So if you could take a couple of seconds, pause the video and get those marked. Okay, GCSE exam question worth 2 marks. There's an A part for 1 mark and a B part for 1 mark. Could you pause the video and have a go at that, please? Let's see how we got on with that. So 130 for the top. So you've got to work out the angle X. So we could get vertically opposite and work out that this one here would have to be 50, and then they're interior, so they add up to 180. We could use angles on a straight line to make this one 130 here from the 50, and then we've got alternate angles that add up that are equal. We could have used angles on a straight line to work out this one is 130, and then we can use corresponding. So it doesn't matter how you did it, as long as you got that X would be 130 degrees, that's 1 mark. Part B, vertically opposite. Okay, so you should have circled the vertically opposite or picked the vertically opposite for 1 mark. So which one of these describes angle X and Y? So they cross, so vertical opposite, which I've mentioned a few times through the lesson. Hopefully you've got 2 out of 2. Could you mark that, please, and add that to your work? It is the end of the lesson. If you could take a picture of your work or email a copy of your typed work to your teachers, please. Thank you very much.